is the way it's the quality of the time that you utilize. Yeah. So I prioritized, every day I prioritize, every day I know what my schedule will be like. And being in that country, it is possible because nobody wastes your time. That's one of the best
And you
things.
were also telling me earlier that one of the things that you do is to realize which are the things you want to achieve in a day and drop the things which you know are not realistically possible to complete within the day, so that way you don't have the frustration lingering on to the next day.
Absolutely. You know, one time we went to a seminar and then the facilitator gave an example. There was a glass box and there are some big stones, there are some small stones, and there are some sands. So what he did, he said, arrange this thing in that box. So people tried in many ways. Somebody put the small thing first and then the sand and then stone, but they couldn't fit it in. The rule of thumb and the message is that organize your big stones first, that means big work first, and then the little things will fall in place. So if you know what is that you want, then you have to categorize your priorities. The first level of priorities, second level, and third. So the first priorities, you are going to do it. The second one, which some of them can wait, they're not life-threatening, so you then eliminate those. And certain things you decide not to do, like you mentioned, we were discussing before you came to the studio. Once you decide that those are the things I'm not going to do, that is not going to cause you any frustration. But if you think I have to do but I'm not doing,
right.
That's why many times doctors recommend the reason, in order for you to avoid stress, you do not procrastinate.
Right.
Not procrastinating is one of the keys to stay away from stress.
So if you think of it now, then you do it now.
Yes.
Right.
If you have to do it, you decide. Actually in life, you don't have to do anything.
Right. But so similarly then, you were very young when you got into singing and into music, and it took years of discipline and training that got you.
Right.
But you always maintained that that was your passion.
Yes.
And you never really set out to make it your livelihood, quote unquote.
No, I didn't.
Why so?
Well, there's a very, very clear understanding within me what is that I wanted to do. Remember, I said I know what I want. I always did. The reason I could have easily made this as my everyday full-time career, yes. And the reason I didn't, first of all, I never wanted to make my music as the means of my living. Although, when I perform wherever I go, the half of the world that I have traveled, I didn't spend even one coin from my pocket. But the thing is, if people are different, I'm not saying those who do is wrong or right. But what I did, that's what I thought, that I just want to pursue my music for the sake of being a better musician, upgrade my music, and put my heart and soul without really expecting anything from it. It might sound a little unrealistic, but that's what I did. I never ran after anything.
So you probably didn't compromise on the musical aspect simply because it was not the means of your livelihood.
Yes.
But you performed all over the world, like you said.
Not all over, but a lot of places I have been to.
At many international performances.
That I'll
be politically correct in that.
Yes.
Or is there a comparison and a contrast between your audience here in South Asia and your audience who is born South Asians but yet call a different nation, call the West their home?
Okay, yes. Okay, basically what has happened, and I'm just talking about classical music, okay?
Yes.
Because classical music is always, there's a very small fraction of people who are interested in.
Why is that? Is it because of the discipline that it involves?
It is. It is a very, very hard commitment, very tough commitment. So the thing is, the same subject, a lot of people can learn with a different objectives. Not necessarily if somebody learns music, that person wants to be a professional. So, keeping that thing in mind, classical music as it is very tough commitment. It's every day. You cannot afford not to practice even one day. There is no profession in this world, that I will say with a lot of conviction, that needs that lengthy hours of practice and
that level of commitment also,
that,
for doing
yes,
it day after day after
every
day.
365 days without failure, and years after years. So going back to your original question, that why classical music is liked by limited people, first of all, is being so difficult. Secondly, in order for you to understand, to enjoy the music, you need a little bit of understanding. You can enjoy on the surface value, but in order for to enjoy it really in real sense, you need some education in that subject. So that's one thing. The second thing is that the popularity. I mean, it is easy to be, to relate to common public with light music. It's much easier because they understand, they can relate to it, so they enjoy. And going back to your question that whether South Asian in India or South Asia or in those who are living abroad, what the differences are. The differences is here people have a lot more understanding, even by listening, because they are in the middle of it. Even you don't want to listen to the radio is
still on,
being played, right. Television, you're flipping your channels, but you will get to hear some, right? So you're getting some exposure. So your ears get developed. So you can identify the quality, the difference in quality. So that is here. You cannot really very much expect it outside India. There are very few, of course there are, but very limited few. So that's the
because
first.
there is a different culture altogether,
Yes.
and their tradition dictates other things.
Right. That's the first thing. Second thing is life being so busy, in a sense that music is, I mean, for us it is mandatory, but music is not mandatory for life. If you really look at it this way, I mean, you can really wake up in the morning and go to bed without listening to any music. Your life will go on, but livelihood, earning your livelihood is a lot more important. So people get very busy being there. So
that's interesting that we cannot think of life without music to a great extent, which is a point I think we take for granted as South Asians, whereas maybe the rest of the world, it's not that important part of their lives.
It is important, but you see, when you see, they are all relative. If you are just struggling to settle yourself down in a different country, different culture, different educational system, your kids, your work, your day-to-day.
You're busy, of course.
You're so busy, so
you don't really have the time.
Only, yes.
Well, we will continue with your journey of performances in South Asia as well as in the other parts of the world, and also how Mrs. Gauri Guha has maintained the link between South Asia and the rest of the world. But do stay with us right here on TV South Asia as we come back and discuss more on this chat.